Everybody coming down, thank you very much. And if everybody would silent their phones, I just silenced my phone myself. And so we appreciate all that are here. So on to the adoption of the agenda. Commissioners, the agenda has been sent out prior, and so we'll need a motion to adopt the agenda. There's a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it, and the agenda is adopted. Next is item C, which is the approval of the October 24th, 2024 minutes. Those were also sent out prior to the meeting. Is there a motion to adopt the minutes? There's a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it, and the October 24th minutes are adopted. Next is the recognition of the council members. I didn't see any, and Lisa, do you see any? We don't see any council members. All right, so if a council member comes in, we like to let them speak in between agenda items. So we appreciate the council members always coming down and speaking to our group. Next is item E, which is items for deferral or withdrawal, and take it away.
Okay, our items for deferral or withdrawal tonight, starting on page 3 of your agenda, item number 1, 2024 SP 036001, 832 West Trinity. Staff recommendation is defer to December 12th. Item number 2, 2024 SP 037001, 3993 Dickerson Pike Multifamily. Staff recommendation is defer to December 12th. On page 4 of your agenda, item number 3, 2024 SP 039001, Brentwood Chase 3. Staff recommendation is defer to the December 12th meeting. Item number 5, 2024 SP 043001, 1265 McGavick SP. Staff recommendation is defer to December 12th. Item number 6, 2024 SP 044001, 215 1 Mile. Staff recommendation is defer to December 12th. Item number 7, 2024 SP 045001, 4144 Maxwell Road Residential. Staff recommendation is defer to December 12th. On page 5 of your agenda, item number 8, 2024 SP 048001, 4222 and 4278 Central Pike. Staff recommendation is deferred to the January 9th, 2025 meeting. Item number 9, 2024 S084001, final plat of the Steinbach property. Staff recommendation is to withdraw. Item number 10, 2024 S115001, Monroe Park Phase 1. Staff recommendation is defer to December 12th. Item number 12, 2024 S134001, 102 Scenic View Road. Staff recommendation is defer to December 12th. On page 6 of your agenda, item number 14, 2024 S142001, Cane Ridge Farm South. Staff recommendation is defer to December 12th, and I would like to note that Commissioner Blackshear is recused from that item. Item number 16, 10971P001, 3620 Anderson Road Amendment. Staff recommendation is defer to December 12th. Item number 17, 2024 DTC 014002. Staff recommendation is deferred to December 12th, and I would like to note that Commissioner Blackshear is recused from that item. On page 7 of your agenda, item number 18, 2024 Z051 PR001. Staff recommendation is deferred to the January 9th, 2025 meeting. Item number 20, 2024 CP004001, Madison Community Plan Amendment. Staff recommendation is deferred to December 12th. Item number 22, 2024 Z015TX001. Staff recommendation is to withdraw. On page 8 of your agenda, item number 23, 2024 Z017TX001. Staff recommendation is to withdraw. On page 9 of your agenda, item number 29, 2024 SP052001, Bordeaux Homes. Staff recommendation is deferred to December 12th. Oh, and sorry, item number 28, 2024 SP049001, 5642 Valley View SP. Staff recommendation is defer to December 12th. On page 10, item number 34, 2024 TSO 001001. Staff recommendation is defer to December 12th. Item 35, 2022 S 220001, 3862 Hudson Avenue. Staff recommendation is defer to December 12th. On page 11 of your agenda, item number 38, 2024 S 139001, Schuler Clarksville Highway. Staff recommendation is defer to December 9th. December 12th. And on page 12 of your agenda, item number 46, 2024 Z125 PR 001, staff recommendation is deferred to the January 9th meeting. And that concludes our deferral and withdrawal.
Thank you. And so make sure we get these right. And commissioners, these are the following items for deferral withdrawal. Items 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17, 18, 20, 22, 23, 28, 29, 34, 35, 38, and 46. Is that correct? I go fast. I'm sorry.
That's correct.
Okay, perfect. All right, commissioners, you've heard the items for deferral or withdrawal. Is there a motion? There's a motion, second, and a second. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it, and those items are deferred or withdrawn. Now we're on to the consent agenda, item F, the consent agenda. Go ahead.
Okay, items on our consent agenda tonight. So items noted on our agenda as tentatively on consent will be read aloud at the beginning of the meeting to determine if there's opposition present. If there's opposition present, please raise your hand, and these items will be taken off of the tentative consent agenda and placed on the agenda to be heard in the order in which they are listed on the agenda. If no opposition is present, the item will be placed on the consent agenda. As noticed to the public, items on the consent agenda will be voted on at a single time. No individual public hearing will be held, nor will the commission debate these items unless a member of the audience or the commission requests that the item be removed from the consent agenda. Starting on page 4 of your agenda, item number 4, 2024 SP 042001, Northview Senior Living. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the tentative consent agenda. On page 5 of your agenda, item number 11, 2024 S116001, Hamilton Church Road. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda. On page 6 of your agenda, item number 13, 2024 S141001, Cane Ridge Farms North. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the agenda to be heard. Item 15, 2024 S151001, 1122 Snow Avenue. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the agenda to be heard. On page 7 of your agenda, item number 19, 2024 CP 003001, Bordeaux, Whites Creek, Haynes Trinity Community Plan Amendment. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda. Item number 21, 2024 CP 013002, Antioch Priest Lake Community Plan. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda. On page 8 of your agenda, item number 24, 2024 Z020TX001. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda. Item number 25, 2024 Z021TX001. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda. Item number 26, 2022 SP 071002, Liberty Place Amendment. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda. Item number 27, 2024 SP 026001, 4120 Murfreesboro Pike. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda. On page 9 of your agenda, item number 30, 2024 SP 053001, 516 Meridian Street SP. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda. Item number 31, 2024 SP 056001, City Vista Phase 2. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda. Item number 32, 2024 CDO 001001. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda. On page 10 of your agenda, item number 33, 2024 CDO 002001. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda. Item number 36, 2024 S068001, Eaton's Creek Resub Lot 45. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda. Item number 37, 2024 S130001, 1100 Davidson Road. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda. On page 11 of your agenda, item number 39, 2024 S160001, 559 Watsonwood Drive. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda. Item number 40, 2024 S161001, 229 and 233 Shoot Lane. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the agenda to be heard. Item number 41, 2024 S162001, 2823 Twin Lawn Drive. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda. Item number 42, 2024 S165001, Pennington Mills. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda. Item number 12, page 12, item number 43, 2024 Z101 PR 001. This is a rezoning along 24th Avenue North. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda. Item number 44, 2024 Z113 PR 001. This is a request to rezone along South Hamilton Road and Doak Avenue. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda. Item number 45, 2024 Z124 PR 001. This is a rezoning along J Street. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda. Item number 47, 2024 Z128 PR 001. This is a request to rezone along Brick Church Pike. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda. On page 13 of your agenda, item number 48, 2024 Z129 PR 001. This is a request to rezone along Little Green Street. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda. Item number 49, 2024 Z131 PR 001. This is a request regarding the urban zoning overlay district. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda.
Keep going.
Oh. Yeah,
it's
I can
still
run
your
through with
turn.
the full captions now.
Right, yes. Thank you. See, I usually jump the gun. Sorry.
So I will now run through with all of our items on the consent agenda with their full captions. As legal information, as information for our audience, if you are not satisfied with the decision made by the Planning Commission today, you may appeal the decision by petitioning for a writ of cert with the Davidson County Chancery or Circuit Court. Your appeal must be filed within 60 days of the date of the entry of the Planning Commission's decision. To ensure that your appeal is filed in a timely manner and that all procedural requirements have been met, please be advised that you should contact independent legal counsel.
Amelia, one moment. Is there, for item number 45, 2024Z, 124 PR 001, it's a rezoning on J Street. Is there opposition to that item? Okay, that item will be not on consent.
Okay. Did I miss it? I don't think she raised her hand. Okay. Okay. Items on our consent agenda tonight. Starting on page 4 of your agenda, item number 4, 2024 SP 042001, Northview Senior Living. This is a request to rezone from R8 to SB for properties along West Trinity Lane to permit a multifamily residential development. Staff recommendation is to approve with conditions, including the conditions in the memo that is distributed to the planning commissioners at their desks, and to disapprove without all conditions. On page 5 of your agenda, item number 11, 2024 S116001, Hamilton Church Road. This is a request for a concept plan to create 129 lots using compact development standards along Hamilton Church Road. Staff recommendation is to approve with conditions. On page 7 of your agenda, item number 19, 2024 CP 003001, Bordeaux, Whites Creek, Haynes Trinity Community Plan Amendment. This is a request to amend the community plan for the Bordeaux, Whites Creek, Haynes Trinity area for properties located along Brick Church Pike. Staff recommendation is to approve, and I would like to note that Commissioner Blackshear is recused from that item. Item number 21, 2024 CP 013002, Antioch Priest Lake Community Plan. This is a request to amend the community plan by changing the community character policy from suburban neighborhood evolving to district industrial for property located along Reynolds Road. Staff recommendation is to approve, and I would like to note that Commissioner Blackshear is recused from that item. On page 8 of your agenda, item number 24, 2024 Z020TX001. This is a request to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code pertaining to housekeeping amendments. Staff recommendation is to approve, including an exception to Section 8D of the Planning Commission Rules and Procedures due to the housekeeping nature of this request. Item number 25, 2024 Z021TX001. This is a request to amend Section 17 of the Metropolitan Zoning Code to correct clerical errors in the two-story overlay. Staff recommendation is to approve, including an exception to Section 8D of the Planning Commission Rules and Procedures due to the housekeeping nature of this request. Item number 26, 2022 SP 071002, Liberty Place Amendment. This is a request to amend a specific plan for properties located along Liberty Lane to permit a multifamily residential development. Staff recommendation is to approve with conditions and disapprove without all conditions. Item number 27, 2024 SP 026001, 4120 Murfreesboro Pike. This is a request to rezone from AR2A to SP for property located along Murfreesboro Pike to permit a multifamily residential development. Staff recommendation is to approve with conditions and disapprove without all conditions. On page 9 of your agenda, item number 30, 2024 SP 053001, 516 Meridian Street, SP. This is a request to rezone from SP to SP for property located along Meridian Street to permit 5 multifamily residential units. Staff recommendation is to approve with conditions and disapprove without all conditions. Item number 31, 2024 SP 056001, City Vista Phase 2. This is a request to rezone to SP for properties located along Lucille Street to permit a mixed-use development. Staff recommendation is to approve with conditions and disapprove without all conditions. Item number 32, 2024 CDO 001. This is a request to apply a corridor design overlay district for properties along Buena Vista Pike and south of Mormon's Arm Road. Staff recommendation is to approve. On page 10 of your agenda, item number 33, 2024 CDO 002-001. This is a request to apply a corridor design overlay districts for properties located along Tucker Road and Young's Lane. The staff recommendation is to approve. Item number 36, 2024 S068001, Eaton's Creek Resub Lot 45. This is a request for a final plat to create residential lots along Ashland City Highway. Staff recommendation is to approve with conditions. Item number 37, 2024 S130001, 1100 Davidson Road. This is a request to amend a previously approved plat to reduce setbacks located at 1100 Davidson Road. Staff recommendation is to approve with conditions. On page 11 of your agenda, item number 39, 2024 S160001, 559 Watsonwood Drive. This is a request for a final plat approval to create 2 lots located at 559 Watsonwood Drive. Staff recommendation is to approve with conditions, including an exception to Section 3 of the subdivision regulations. Item number 41, 2024 S162001, 2823 Twin Lawn Drive. This is a request to amend a previously approved plat to modify the setbacks on property at 2823 Twin Lawn Drive. Staff recommendation is to approve with conditions. Item number 42, 2024 S165001, Pennington Mills. This is a request for a final plat to create 42 lots along Pennington Bend Road. Staff recommendation is to approve with conditions. And I would like to note that Commissioner Blackshear is recused from this item. Rounding home now, on page 12 of your agenda, item number 43, 2024 Z101 PR 001. This is a request to rezone from RS5 to R6A for property located along 24th Avenue North. Staff recommendation is to approve. Item number 44, 2024 Z113 PR 001. This is a request to rezone from RS10 to R10 for properties along South Hamilton Road and Doak Avenue. Staff recommendation is to approve. Item number 47, 2024 Z128 PR 001. This is a request to rezone from R8 to IWD for properties located along Brick Church Pike. Staff recommendation is to approve. On page 13 of your agenda, item number 48, 2024 Z129 PR 001. This is a request to rezone from IWD to MUNA for properties along Little Green Street. Staff recommendation is to approve. Item number 49, 2024 Z131 PR 001. This is a request to expand the urban zoning overlay district for properties located within the River North Urban Design Overlay District. Staff recommendation is to approve. And under item H, other business, item 53, to accept the director's report and approve administrative items.
You rounded home plate. Good. Thank you, Amelia. So consent agenda, which these are all passed at the same time. Commissioners, these are the following items that will be passed. Items number 4. So Amelia, make sure I get these correct. Items number 4, 11, 19, 21, 24, 25, 26, 27, 30, 31, 32, 33, 36, 37, 39, 41, 42, 43, 44, 47, 48, 49, and 53. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, Commissioners, you've heard the items to adopt on the consent agenda. Is there a motion? There's a motion. Thank you, Vice Chair. Second. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it, and those items are passed on the consent agenda. So that leads us to 4 items that will be considered in the public hearing, which are items number 13, 15, 40, and 45. And so we'll let everybody clear out. And while And while everybody's clearing out, the folks that are here, some of you have been here before, some of you are pros being here, some of you have never been here. And so when we open the item for public hearing, we're all volunteers here, so we ask that everybody be professional when presenting. The applicant will speak first, then they can save 2 minutes for rebuttal, and then we'll take anyone wishing to speak in support. And then after that, we'll take anyone wishing to speak in opposition. After that, we'll have a rebuttal from the applicant and then the council member if they're here, and then we'll close the item for public hearing, and that's when the commission deliberates it. So I just wanted to let everybody know, we're a friendly group, but we have rules. The speakers will have 2 minutes, and actually, could you turn the timer towards me just a little bit? I can't see it, and I'll tell you. Oh, that's too much, maybe a little. There we go, perfect. So I'm very, very particular about that time clock. Thank you very much. All right, so, did we break it?
Oh, no, it's the other one, and Andy, yeah. It's touchy, and it will fall out, so you have to be careful.
Well,
We're good.
all right. Sometimes we have technical difficulties. All right. So, and that's a good reminder, Commissioners, just the microphones are extremely sensitive tonight, so just don't rush into touching the buttons real quick. Just be gentle. All right. Sorry about that. Okay, so we are on item number 13 for the presentation.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Laszlo Martone. I'll be presenting item number 13. So the request is for concept plan approval to create 26 lots. And staff's recommendation is to approve with conditions. The site consists of one property located at the terminus of O'Hara Drive. The subject property was created by plat in 2002 as part of the Cane Ridge Farms Phase 2 subdivision. However, it has remained vacant. The property has been zoned single-family residential since 1999, and surrounding zonings include single-family residential and agricultural residential. The Metropolitan Planning Commission has adopted subdivision regulations that include standards for specific transects. Since this site is located within the suburban transect, the regulations found in Chapter 3 of the Metro Subdivision Regulations were used to evaluate. In our analysis of the proposed concept plan, staff used the conservation development standards, which are intended to preserve unique or insensitive environmental features, as well as encourage the creation of lots on less environmentally sensitive areas of the site. In the early stages of review, staff found that the proposal triggered the standards by meeting both the minimum site area and the minimum natural area requirement. As you may know, the conservation development standards are the successor to the cluster lot option, and I'll note that this is the fourth case staff has reviewed under these standards. Taking a look at the site plan, you'll see that a total of 26 lots are proposed, and these range in size from 7,975 square feet to 19,571 square feet. The plan proposes an east to west extension of O'Hara Drive, as well as a north-south public street that will terminate into a cul-de-sac. Approximately 21.1% of the site is shown as natural open space, and the main natural open space features include areas of 100-year floodplain, floodway, a stream, and its associated buffers. These features are most prevalent in the northwestern and southern portions of the site. And I'll note that the plan also includes a greenway conservation easement that follows the waterways on the property and incorporates their buffers. The maximum lot yield determined by the conservation development standards is 44 lots. However, the proposal is only proposing 22 lots and therefore complies. Although the standards require 20% of the site to be set aside as natural open space, this proposal sets aside approximately 21.1%. The areas of natural features are identified on the concept plan as primary conservation land, and they will be protected. Because the plan sets aside 21.1% of the area for natural open space, the minimum lot size can therefore be reduced by an equivalent percentage. The adjusted minimum lot size is there on the screen. It is 7,890 square feet, and the proposal complies as all the lots meet the adjusted lot size. In conclusion, staff finds the proposed subdivision consistent with the intent of Chapter 3 of the Metro Subdivision Regulations, as well as the previously discussed conservation development standards. The proposal achieves the purpose of creating lots on less environmentally sensitive areas of the site through flexibility in lot sizes and design, and staff recommends approval with conditions.
Thank you, Laszlo. Commissioners, we'll open this item for public hearing. Is the applicant in the room? Welcome, and you have 10 minutes, and you can save 2 of the 10 minutes for rebuttal, and please state your name and address for the record.
Is it? We good? Okay. Thank you. My name is Adam Sager. I'm with Dale & Associates, 516 Heather Place, Nashville. Thank you, commissioners, for hearing us. Thank you, Laszlo, for presenting that. I think that summed it up pretty well, is that it's a concept plan meeting the subdivision regulations. To add a little bit of context, this property is not part of, but akin to the Cane Ridge Farms development that has been there for many, many years. It's just an undeveloped parcel that until now hasn't come before y'all to be developed. And so we're bringing it forward under its existing zoning of RS10. It's surrounded by RS10 zoning. We're not asking any more above and beyond of what is all around us. Since Cane Ridge Farms has been approved and built, we do have some new requirements in the conservation subdivision, and so that's some of the things that were presented there. And I just wanted to point out that we're not maximizing this footprint by any stretch. In fact, like he pointed out, we have up to 44 lots that we could look at. We intentionally brought that down. And then we brought it down even more because the client is looking at this from creating a community, wanting to put a good product here, and we don't want to restrict it and pack it in too tight. So as you look at the layout, you'll see not only are we preserving the natural open space, but also leaving a pretty good amount of buffer around there for stormwater and to just let the site breathe a little bit. There will be conservation easements placed on the floodway floodplain as requested. Let's see here, we're putting a buffer around it, and though while it's not required, we're actually taking more of the open space over on the western part and kind of staying away even further from the floodway floodplain. Again, this is a pretty straightforward request. I'm going to leave 2 minutes for rebuttal, and we appreciate your consideration on this. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And so we'll reserve 2 minutes for rebuttal, and then anyone wishing to speak in support. Seeing none, anyone wishing to speak in opposition? Okay, and before we do that, we have had, commissioners, just a reminder, we have had a rule change that we changed last meeting that says that speakers need to only say their name and their location that they're from. You don't have to specifically say your address because of safety concerns. So you could say, like I would say, hi, I'm Greg Atkins, I'm from Creve Hall, or I'm from Davidson County. We're not specific, like it has to be county, but just
I
location.
appreciate that. I think
Yeah,
being
go
more
ahead.
safe is always good. I'm Twanachuk from Cane Ridge. Good evening, commissioners. I shared some pictures with some of you a few weeks ago showing the gross siltation of Turkey Creek, which feeds Mill Creek. This development will be just a few hundred yards downstream and abuts part of it. We know that this and every development is following all the rules and regulations, metro, state, and federal. That's not the issue. The developer has agreed to some of these additional conditions, and we asked for these to be documented conditions. One is to remove all the invasives along the creek, which includes bush honeysuckle, privet, calorie pear, and others. These catch debris and they back up water, which leads to additional flooding, and they have agreed to this. Developing an invasives management and maintenance plan. Otherwise, those things will just regrow within a year, and they advise that they can't force that to the HOA. However, the current HOA has said in writing, and I sent that to y'all, that they are supportive of that. So we ask that it be discussed with the HOA and ascertain whether that part can move forwards. There's also a possibility, even by what he just said about it being a separate HOA, for having a sub-regulation that allows this to have invasive management control all the future moving forwards. We asked for a condition to only replant it with natives, only natives that are in the area. They're fast disappearing, things like milkweed, our native cane, pawpaw trees, nut-producing trees, and they've agreed to that. We asked for a condition to do additional signage and better than regulation, siltation, fencing. They have not agreed to the signage, although I think actually there's a late email that says they are. Because of the problems that we've had with, and we've discussed with Metro Water over the last year with the siltation, we're asking for weekly monitoring for siltation so that it can be addressed before it gets out of hand. We want a condition that says the siltation monitoring through turbidity meters or other appropriate measures upstream and downstream on a weekly and a post-rainfall basis will occur. We've gotten confirmation from the experts at Mill Creek Watershed that they're happy to provide advice and make connections with experts for this process. It's not expensive. The meters are about $400, but it can help save Turkey Creek by discovering issues early. We also want a condition that they leave the currently standing healthy trees in place, undisturbed and protected throughout construction wherever they do not interfere with utilities, building footprints, or other necessary disturbances. We don't want any clear cutting for convenience sake. This is a condition that's also requested by an abutting neighbor. And we look forward to working more with this developer to preserve Turkey Creek. We have letters of support from the HOA, one of which is going to be read by another lady back here, and then we'll turn that over to you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition? Welcome.
Hi, my name is Nanette Coffey. I live in District 33, just up the road. However, I am reading for Kathy Crow, who lives right by the property, for her. She states the following: as a board member for Cane Ridge Farms and the Grove HOA for over 4 years, and as a homeowner for 20 plus years, I would like to ask that the developers for Cane Ridge North and South be diligent to maintain Turkey Creek and the endangered species as they begin their new construction, keeping the trees in place as much as possible and keeping the native plants in place to help with the flooding that we've seen in our backyards over the years. Our backyard backs up to Turkey Creek, and the common area beside our house is next to the bridge on Blairfield Drive. So I know that the creek can come up over the banks in a heavy rain. Any regulations or restrictions that the Planning Commission can enforce would be greatly appreciated. Kathy Crow.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else? And rebuttal, 2 minutes. Seeing no one else, rebuttal.
Thank you. I'm going to go through the items that Tawana was mentioning. And yes, we have emailed with Tawana. We have worked with her. And I applaud Tawana for caring so much about the Cane Ridge. Every time we do a project down there, she's very active. Our client has agreed to remove the invasives out of the creek and implement a replanting plan of natural vegetation. It is within the Cane Ridge HOA, and so our client has worked with the Cane Ridge HOA previously to make sure that they have an agreeable relationship and that this development would be folded into them. So it's kind of a synergistic relationship in that regard. The signs, yes, we're agreeing to those. In fact, those are a requirement of our stormwater department to put up signs because we actually have not just buffers, we have floodway and floodplain. And I know she mentioned about the metering. There is monitoring that's done by our NPDES department for siltation and things of that regard. This floodplain, just to remind everybody, I know you've probably heard it many times, but there is a 75-foot buffer off of the floodway. So you have the creek, and outside the creek is the floodway line, and then another 50 foot of don't touch it, and then another 25 feet of buffer. And so there's a pretty healthy amount that we can't even get close to the creek. So we also, it'll be in our best interest to respect the distance to the creek and not to disturb that area. So we're in agreement with all of those items. And yeah, just wanted to point those things out. So thank you all.
Thank you. And I did not see the council lady. So we'll declare the public hearing closed, and we'll, how about we start, Vice Chair, we always start, it's like a tradition. We always start with you first, and then we'll open it for discussion. But before we do that, personally, I always like to get a reminder of the difference between from our legal counsel, the difference between subdivision regulations and peer zoning changes. It just helps me understand each of these cases, and I just think that's an important reminder for us. So, Counselor.
Yes, hi. So you will be required to review this in the context of the subdivision regulations to determine if it is complying with those regulations. I think if you look at the staff report, they've sort of checked off those boxes for you. The other thing is you can consider as the general plan. If you have any direct questions, let me know. But in general, they are viewed differently because the subdivision rules are a completely different section and have very specific rules depending on where you're building and what you're doing.
Thank you, Counselor. All right, Vice Chair.
I don't really have a lot of comments on this. It seems like, reading staff's analysis, it seems like it meets the requirements. My only question was regarding the list of conditions that the applicant agreed to with the association. Is that something that we are, are there any of those that we can actually incorporate into conditions for this item? Specifically, it seems like at least the removing the invasives. I don't know if that fits in with some of the clearing requirements.
So they are likely beyond just the letter of our regulations. That doesn't mean that you all can't consider them. What I would suggest, it seems like you have a willing applicant and developer that has been working with the community, and so I would suggest maybe a general condition for the applicant to continue to work with the community to sort of hammer out those details. We're happy for them to include those on the plan once they've sort of worked it out, but I would suggest maybe just a general condition for them to continue to work together, because it seems that is going in a positive way, and what they are sort of agreeing to privately may actually be beyond what we could require, and so I would suggest that as a good approach.
Okay, well, we'll do that when we get to a motion. Otherwise, I don't have further comments.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Any other discussion? Seeing none, Vice Chair, it's time, I think.
Then I would like to make a motion that we accept staff's recommendation with all conditions, as well as add a condition that the applicant and the the neighborhood association continue in discussions.
And the neighborhood association and the Cane Ridge community.
And the Cane Ridge community continue working towards the items discussed.
That's a proper motion. Is there a second? Second? Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Ayes have it. It's adopted. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Could you go get Commissioner Blackshear and ask her to come back into the room? She was recused from that item. Thank you.
waiting on a commissioner, so I just wanted to let everybody know that, just give us a couple minutes. We'll see if she's still here. All right, so we're back on item 15, Savannah.
All right.
Presentation, okay.
Thank you. This is item 15 on the agenda. This applicant is requesting final plat approval to create 7 lots on properties located at 1122 Snow Avenue. Staff recommends to approve with conditions. This site is located in a single-family zone that's surrounding by also single-family RS 7.5. The site's existing land use is single-family residential, and surrounding land use is vacant and single-family residential as well. All proposed lots are greater than 7,500 square feet and have frontage on either Snow Avenue or Stable Court. The subdivision regulations incorporate the general plan policies by including rules or standards for each specific transect. This site is in the T4NE policy, and for sites within the T4 urban transect, the conventional regulations found in Chapter 3 are utilized. The proposed final plat shows 7 lots. The 7 sizes range from 8,152 square feet to 18,288 square feet. This site has access from both Snow Avenue and Stable Court. There are 3 shared access easements proposed shown by the red arrows. 1 shared access is between lots 2 and 3, lots 4 and 5, and lots 6 and 7. The 2 20-foot wide access easements are proposed with this subdivision due to the frontage widths being less than 50 feet. Shared access easements are provided between lots 2 and 3 due to the frontage widths of 48 feet and between 4 and 5 due to the frontage widths of approximately 40 feet. A third shared access easement is proposed between lots 6 and 7 due to the location of the stormwater feature that spans feature that spans some of the frontage, located on the southern eastern portion of lot 6. This site meets the minimum lot frontage with the shared access, and they also meet the minimum zoning standards. Therefore, staff recommends to approve with conditions.
Thank you. And we'll open this item for public hearing. Is the applicant in the room? Welcome. And please state your name and where you're from. And
hello,
you have 10 minutes, and the timer is right there. You can save 2 of the 10 for rebuttal.
Hello, this is Mina. I'm the applicant and the owner. I live in Nashville. Just wanted to introduce myself and let you know that I'm here to answer any questions.
Thank you, and we'll save 2 minutes for rebuttal. Anyone wishing to speak in support of the project? Seeing none, anyone wishing to speak in opposition? Come on up. Welcome.
This is the first time here. So my name is Myra.
Just go slow, we're fine.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Okay, my name is
Welcome.
Myra, and we're from Madison. And we're not in disagreement of building homes. We just think that 7 homes next to my father's home is too many. There is a creek next to lot 80, which is theirs, and 81, which is theirs, and 80, which is ours. And that creek, on rainy season, it overflows, and usually the water divides between lot 6 and 7 that is shown on the screen and our property. So once they build that, all that water overflow is gonna come all the way to lot 80, which is my parents' house. That is our concern.
You did great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you coming down. All right, anyone else wishing to speak in opposition? Seeing none, sir, would you like a rebuttal? Come on up again.
First of all, thank you for bringing this concern. While we're subdividing this, the design team worked with Savannah, the planner, to make sure there is a 30-foot buffer on each side of the creek to make sure that it does not affect either the new builds or the neighbor on the west side. Also wanted to assure that while we are building, we comply and respect all stormwater regulations. When they are giving us the building permit, they make sure that they calculate, and and the design team calculate all the impervious square footage to make sure any rain or any stormwater is being treated by either rain garden or French drains to make sure that there's no excess water that flows to the new houses or to the neighbor as well. So we go with the building codes and stormwater's regulation, and that's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I didn't see the council person. And so seeing no one else wishing to speak, I declare the public hearing closed. Commissioner Clifton, you want to go first?
Well, I'd just like to have the staff's perspective on the concern that was raised, and obviously staff's probably looked at something like this for that property. And do you have thoughts for us about whether this will make it worse or better, for instance, things like that? The specific concern raised by the citizen.
You're asking whether subdividing and building new homes will make the situation with flooding worse or improve it? Is that the question?
Yeah, in some situations, it actually makes it better.
So as the applicant stated in his rebuttal, and staff is aware that when they go to build the homes on the property, they'll need to get grading plans approved and building permits approved, and stormwater and codes will be reviewing those. And our stormwater department will require measures be put in place to control the quantity and quality of stormwater flow. So with construction of new homes, it is possible that the amount of stormwater flowing off of the site could be less if retention measures are created on site, like with bioretention areas, rain gardens, and things like that.
So you're saying that basically what happened under our normal development of these things and normal review as it goes forward?
Yes, that's correct.
Any other discussion? We'll need a motion. Seeing no discussion, we'll need a motion. Commissioner Clifton, you want to make a motion?
Just move we accept staff's recommendation.
That's proper motion. Is there a second? Second. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it, and item 15 is adopted. So that leads us to, thank you, and I just want to say thank you for coming down, and we appreciate everyone coming down for that. Did a great job speaking. We are on item number 40 on page 11. your lucky day, Les.
Okay, let me just get to where we're at. Yeah, let me do that. Okay, this is item number 40. And the request is for final plat approval to create 2 lots. And staff's recommendation is to approve with conditions, including an exception to section 3-5.2 of the Metro subdivision regulations. The site consists of 2 properties. The property at 229 Chute Lane was created by deed in 1941, and the property located at 233 Chute Lane was created by deed in 1964. Both properties have been zoned single-family residential since 1998, and a residential accessory structure overlay was applied to both properties in 2020. As a reminder, the request is for final plat approval to create 2 lots, and the existing RS30 zoning is to remain in place. The proposed final plat is shown on the screen. The 2 lots orient to Chute Lane and are equivalent in their lot size and lot frontage. The plat dedicates areas of right-of-way to comply with the major and collector street plan, and it also shows a shared driveway easement, which is there to comply with the shared access standard for detached single-family lots that are located along arterial and collector streets. Both lots meet the requirements of the RS30 zoning district and the requirements of the Metro subdivision regulations, with the exception of lot frontage. The plat was reviewed based on the compatibility criteria above, including lot frontage, lot size, setbacks, and orientation. Proposed lots 1 and 2 have frontage widths of 125 feet, while the compatibility criteria required a minimum lot frontage of 130 feet. With the exception of the lot frontage requirement, the plat meets the requirements for lot size, setbacks, and orientation. As a reminder, the Planning Commission has adopted subdivision regulations that include standards for specific transects. Since the site is located within the T3 suburban transect, the regulations found in Chapter 3 were used to evaluate. As the proposed lots are in the neighborhood maintenance policy, the standards for compatibility with surrounding parcels applies. Staff's analysis found that lots 1 and 2 do not meet the lot frontage requirement per compatibility. And in instances when the criteria is not met, the Planning Commission may grant an exception to the compatibility criteria by considering a larger area to evaluate general compatibility. So, when staff was evaluating a larger area to analyze lot frontage, we considered parcels along adjacent blocks in the Brandywines Farm subdivision. And on this slide, I've highlighted the boundaries of the subject properties, which are in red. So we're a little zoomed out here. The properties used in our compatibility analysis are highlighted in blue, and those are along the Chute Lane block. And then highlighted in yellow are parcels where we found that the frontage widths were less than or equal to 125 feet. Sort of trying to show that there are parcels within this larger subdivision that are similar, have similar lot frontages that the proposed subdivision is requesting. So as you can see on blocks along Rolling Mill Road, Barley Mill Road, Brandywine Drive, and even north of Rising Sun Lane, there are several consecutive lots that have frontage widths of 125 feet or less. While the parcels that were used for compatibility along Chute Lane required a slightly wider frontage of 130 feet, our analysis shows that the proposed lots 1 and 2 have comparable frontages to other parcels in the larger Brandywine Farm subdivision. And given this information, staff finds the proposed lots 1 and 2 to be consistent with the larger area and that an exception to compatibility requirements would be appropriate. Our recommendation is to approve with conditions, including the exception to section 3-5.2.
Thank you, Laszlo. We appreciate the presentation, and so we'll open this item for public hearing. Is the applicant in the room? Welcome. You've got 10 minutes and can save 2 of the 10 minutes for rebuttal.
Good evening. I'm Tim Watkins. Live in the Old Hickory area. I'm requesting for the approval to create these 2 lots to better align the property boundaries to be conducive with the other adjoining properties and optimizing the land use. This adjustment will help make the property more functional and will support more efficient layout while ensuring compatibility with the neighboring properties. I believe the change will not negatively, impact the neighboring properties or the surrounding area. In fact, it will help improve the overall quality of the neighborhood by providing a more efficient use of the properties, and it will facilitate better integration with the existing infrastructure and zoning requirements. I'm just asking at this time, for y'all to support my request. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And we'll save 2 minutes for rebuttal. Anyone wishing to speak in support of the proposal? Seeing none, anyone wishing to speak in opposition? Welcome. Come on up. State your name and area that you're from. I got to get used to the new rule. Sorry about that.
Hi, my name is Sarah Sauls, and I live in Old Hickory on Mount Shannon Drive, which is the road that runs parallel to Chute Lane. My husband and I, we purchased our home in the Brandywine Farm subdivision in 2023 because we fell in love with the large trees and the big lawns, all the wildlife that we get, as well as the character of the neighborhood. And over the last 1.5 years, we have dedicated countless hours to improving our 50-year-old home. We could have purchased a tall and skinny, but we instead chose to make an investment in the Old Hickory community. I understand that the lots in question were always 2 in number and that the developer is simply wanting to rearrange the boundary lines. However, I feel that the subdivision of these lots and a variance to the street frontage requirements could set a concerning precedent, allowing other lots in the neighborhood to pursue subdivision as well. Additionally, the existing RS30 zoning would permit the construction of 3-story homes with a rear setback of only 20 feet. And should developers choose to adhere to these specifications, that would significantly change the aesthetic appeal of the neighborhood, as well as the privacy that a lot of the neighbors have come to enjoy. Further, this case proposes a shared driveway, which is not utilized by any other homes in Brandywine Farms, and shared driveways pose a number of logistical challenges, including maneuvering around multiple vehicles and keeping an eye out for neighbors, children, and pets. And these issues will have an impact on Chute Lane, which is a 2-lane roadway with no shoulders or space for street parking. Chute Lane is already very congested, and drivers consistently use our street, Mount Shannon, to bypass the portion of Chute Lane where these lots sit. And they are often going speeds 15 to 20 miles an hour over the neighborhood speed limit. So I feel like a shared driveway could not only negatively impact Chute Lane further, but negatively impact Mount Shannon Drive as well. That is my comments.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak? I'll make sure everybody. Thank you. Just for the record, there's three other people. Okay. Appreciate it. We noted that. All right. Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition? Seeing none, 2-minute rebuttal. Do you want to do rebuttal, sir? Nope. Okay. All right. And I didn't see the council member, so seeing no one else wishing to speak, I declare the public hearing closed. Commissioner Smith, you want to start us off?
I don't have a lot of comments. I think that it seems like a pretty standard request with the one variance, which seems like a pretty slight variance of 5 feet. And staff finding that it fits into the overall neighborhood is fairly convincing to me, as well as the fact that it is taking away a flag lot, which has even a minuscule amount of frontage. So I think that's probably an improvement. I'm inclined to support staff recommendation.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other discussion? Vice Chair.
When thinking about this one, about the shared drive, how does that factor in? I mean, is that something that we factor into the lot frontage because other units have the full lot included or the full driveway included?
Yeah, so when new subdivisions that are on collector arterials, which are higher classification roads, they have higher speed limits. I think that was mentioned that speeding is a problem in this area. It's a part of our subdivision regulations to explore shared access for single family, well, really any lots that are created on those higher classification roads to consolidate driveway access along them to reduce conflict points. And that's just a traffic safety kind of principle that both planning and NDOT follow. So when we do receive new requests, that's sort of something we typically take a look at and applied in this case.
Any other discussion? We'll need a Commissioner Clifton.
Just to that last point, I haven't really thought much about the driveway situation. So you see it as actually a positive. So say that a little bit more. Talk a little bit more about why that is.
Yeah, so to consolidate a drive on a higher classification roadway, it's sort of like if you could imagine driving in a car down an arterial like Gallatin Pike or Dickerson Pike, and there's a lot of different directions where people can come out of a driveway. To consolidate those is really safer for vehicles that are traveling at high speeds because you have less area and less opportunities that you kind of have to visually look out for cars. So to consolidate them makes it a little bit easier for the driver. And I would say also just to add in this case, it's really consolidating the access at the front, but driveways, in this case for these two lots, if two homes were to be built, they can sort of split off into their own domain. But really at the front where the driveway meets the road is sort of where we're looking at to try to reduce those conflict points.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Any other discussion? Commissioner Smith, maybe a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept staff recommendation.
That's a proper motion. Is there a second? There's a second. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it, and item 40 is adopted. We are now on to, we appreciate everybody coming down. We are on item 45.
So I would like to introduce you to Jeremiah Comey. He's a new planner one in our department. This will be his first time presenting to the Planning Commission.
So that's code word, don't be mean. Okay, no hackling. Okay, no hackling. Hi, Jeremiah. Welcome. We look forward to hearing from you from the presentation.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Jeremiah Comey, presenting item number 45 on the agenda tonight. So this is a request to rezone from RS5 to RS6A. A request to rezone from single-family residential to 1 and 2 family residential alternative zoning for property located at 109 J Street, approximately 343 feet east of First Avenue. And staff recommends approval. The property has been zoned single-family residential RS5 since 2004 and contains a single-story single-family residence. The surrounding properties are primarily zoned RS5, and some properties nearby were recently rezoned to RS6A. The surrounding land uses are primarily single-family with some two-family land uses in the area. The subject parcel has frontage along J Street, which is a local street, and is located east of Foster Avenue, which is classified as an arterial boulevard in the Major and Collector Street Plan. The property is located within the T4 Urban Neighborhood Maintenance Policy Area, which intends to maintain the general character of existing urban residential neighborhoods. The T4 Neighborhood Maintenance Policy supports moderate to high density residential development. Based on acreage alone, the proposed R6A zoning could allow up to one duplex for a total of 2 units. The site is located near an arterial boulevard, where additional intensity may be appropriate, and is also accessed via an improved alley at the rear. Property in the R6A district should have access to arterial street with preference given to locations with mass transit service. The site is within a half-mile radius of 2 Wigo transit stops located along Nollinsville Pike. The proposed alternative district standards would ensure that future development on the site has an urban form consistent with the policy guidance. The A designation also provides additional guidelines for access and driveways, garages, and includes a minimum raised foundation requirement to be in line with urban development standards as called for in the urban policy. As the proposed R6 district increases density modestly and aligns with the T4 NMM policy, staff recommends approval. Thank you.
Thank you, and nice work for the first time. Good job. All right, commissioners. You've heard the presentation, so we'll open this item for public hearing. And is the applicant in the room? Welcome. Come on up.
My first time as well, so be nice.
Well, we'll make sure that we're nice. We're always nice, so.
Good.
Welcome, and you have 10 minutes, and you can save 2 of the 10 for rebuttal. Welcome.
Thank you. Frank Miles, Nashville. Thank you, Mr. Comey. I think you did a great job looking to increase density, but also to maintain the characteristic of the neighborhood. So, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, and we'll save 2 minutes for rebuttal. Anyone wishing to speak in support? Seeing none, anyone wishing to speak in opposition? Welcome. We appreciate you coming down.
I've never done this before, so.
That's okay. We'll go slow.
My name is Patricia, and I'm in the district there, so. My concern is that the lot size, the driveways, I don't know if there's enough room for that. The other things is the water piping for the pressure, because the neighborhood is, most of the houses was built in 1949. A lot of them has been remodeled as far as that, and I don't know what are they gonna put 2 houses on there or a duplex? I didn't really hear.
It's a duplex, as we understand.
And is it for rental? Are they gonna rent it out, or?
We don't know that, and that's not something that we discuss. We always treat everybody the same.
And about a community meeting, because a lot of people that lives in our neighborhood is older people, so they're not on social media, so they don't really understand all this, and neither do I. I'm fixing to try to educate myself, so I think that's about all. But maybe a community meeting. Somebody had said something about that. Well, I don't think we've had one. If we had, I hadn't got no letter from it, so.
We can ask that in our deliberation, ma'am, for a community meeting. I know one of the commissioners will.
And I guess that's about all right now, because I don't know anything else to say. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate you coming down. You did great. All right. Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition? Welcome.
Hey, Twanachik, Cane Ridge. I just met Ms. Baxter and had a conversation with her before the meeting this evening. And what she was asking for was deferral for one meeting. I would support that. She explained that there's a lot of elderly homeowners there, and only people who are homeowners got postcards, and most of them didn't understand what they meant, and the people who actually rent and live in the neighborhood, of course, weren't notified at all. She said most of the elderly residents don't have emails, so they're not hearing from the council member. They're also interested in keeping it owner occupied so that their home values are not impacted. I sent an email to Councilmember Welsh on her behalf asking the council member to reach out and call them. She also expressed concerns about parking because of all the rentals that have inundated their neighborhood, and she said you already can't get down the street. And then my final comment would be that just because it happens to be close to Nolensville Road doesn't mean that every lot there should become a duplex, because you're creating problems if you do that, and it's pretty unfair to the long-term homeowners who have lived there and would like to have a valuable item to leave to their families and not have the problems that come with doubling all of the residential occupancy. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition? Seeing none, a 2-minute rebuttal. Rebuttal, sir? For the applicant? No? No rebuttal? All right. And the council member is not here, so seeing no one else wishing to speak, I declare the public hearing closed. And how about Commissioner Marshall, you want to start us off?
Thank you. Pretty much, I feel like it's a pretty straightforward, request. Don't see any major things that jump out at me that would give me a pause for concern. I do hear what the young lady is saying there about the issues, but those issues kind of exist all over the city, pretty much. And so from my standpoint, if it meets all the guidelines and all the requirements that we have, I would support approval of it.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other discussion? Commissioner Clifton?
I don't know if I have questions or what, but it's just an area I go through a lot. I know a lot of folks in the area, and sort of rebounding, as I recall, that part close to Nolensville Road and in that council district. I'm not really sure that moving to, I guess I was surprised that a lot of that district is RS. I guess I should know that from previous meetings because it was all RS, I guess, when it was for some time. But it feels like an R district. It's close to major thoroughfares. It's fairly small lots and contributes in that way to the mix we need in the city. So I'm inclined to support the staff recommendation on this, unless there's something I'm just missing that someone else has.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Blackshear.
The community member spoke about just notice and maybe the lack of a community meeting. It sounds like a lot of her questions were just like, what is going on? What could be built? What could happen in this area? So can you please speak to what community meetings may have had? What type of notice the planning department generally sends out to make sure that folks know about what's going on?
I don't know that there was a community meeting. Community meeting is not required with a rezoning application. I think that if the council member certainly could hold a community meeting between now and council, there's always time. The planning notices are, for anything having to do with the planning commission, are all courtesy, but handled in several ways. Mailed notice to all owners, but then a sign notice is also posted on the property, and then it's noticed through our agenda. Of course, that's posted online, and so there's sort of several ways that we don't assume that everyone will get the notice by mail, and so we do also post on the property a sign indicating that something has been requested to change.
Thank you. That was really helpful. So it sounds like no matter what happens tonight, there's still the ability for a community meeting to be held to talk through some of these issues before it goes to council.
I did want to answer the question earlier that Commissioner Clifton asked. It looks like this area, this property was zoned R6 from 1974 until 2004.
Any other discussion?
I had one quick question. So, I mean, these homes are all relatively consistent. I see a couple of larger duplexes going in across the street. I mean, there's not much that can be done to really preserve, I do worry that the whole street will get rezoned to, in the next 10 years or whatever it takes, and that's going to completely change the character of what is an established older neighborhood. From a design perspective, there's no change in the setback requirements or anything like that changing to this zoning, because like they all have the exact same front setback.
Front setbacks would be
consistent.
Consistent. So front setbacks for all residential districts are what's called a contextual setback. And so essentially it's based on the buildings that are there and that are existing. And so anything new that's built would be built at a consistent setback. Also, as a note, where there's currently a driveway, if redeveloped, there would be no driveway. That would be removed and all access would be required from the alley. And so some of that conflict point or parking that was discussed would actually be moved to the rear of the lot. A districts require alley access.
Okay.
And just to offer a bit of reassurance, and this is something that we'll talk about when we begin to come before you and council around the housing and infrastructure discussion that's due early next year. But this area, like a number of other parts of the city, were actually downzoned. So it had our zoning for many, many years, and like a lot of parts of the country, it went through a downzoning to a district that is single family. And I think that's a conversation that council members can have. But I hope that gives you some reassurance that this isn't sort of a legacy condition that we have to keep sort of in our neighborhoods. I think the idea that we need to ensure that we can build different housing types and in different areas is important for the commission. And this is just one lot, right? But I think there's a broader sort of thinking that we need to do as a body. Maintenance certainly is something that suggests that we ought to ensure that we have design standards in place to have a continuity, and I think the A district gets that. But there is also some change that we would anticipate in maintenance depending on the context, and that's certainly your decision as a body. We're giving you a recommendation, but I would just urge us to think along those lines, not only here, but more broadly, given the city's housing concerns.
And I fully support that, but do have concerns about a neighborhood with a lot of elderly renters and homeowners being displaced because of that. But that is beyond our purview right now.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Smith.
Quick question. If entirely theoretical exercise, but I hope goes to the point of just overhauling the neighborhood as a fear. If this was all just blanket zoned R6, only 25% of these lots would be eligible, or is that not correct? Okay. That was my question.
So I'm about to go down like a super nerdy road for just a second. So the zoning code in regards to two-family eligibility in our districts is complex. Essentially what it says is that for all of the properties zoned R, you are only eligible for a two-family unit, which is the same thing as a duplex, under certain conditions. If the lot was legally created prior to 1989, I believe, then you're eligible. If the lot is legally created from a parcel that was legal at that time. So in other words, if you've got an existing parcel that was legally created and it's cut into no more than 3 lots, then each of those 3 lots would be eligible. If it's more than 3 lots, then it's limited to 25% and they have to be designated on the plat.
I'm sorry we asked that question. No, that's very helpful, actually. That's a good review for the commissioners. And I think it's good for everyone to know that the things that we consider, there are a lot of nuances. And so that was a great question and a great response.
And one thing that I left out, I'm sorry.
One more.
Even to enter into those conditions, you have to meet the minimum lot size of the base zoning district. So for instance, if you're an R6 area, let's just say, you have to be 6,000 square feet before you even get to look at the other things. And so in any given R6 area, not all lots are going to be able to build a 2-family under our current standards.
Any other discussion?
Can we add as a condition that we would encourage the council member to have a community meeting? Because I do think it's important to make sure that the individuals in this neighborhood are
It's very
aware.
appropriate.
Is that,
Well, we can absolutely commit to, this is a straight zone, is that correct? So typically, when we condition a straight zone, or we don't typically condition straight zone, and we're assigning something we want the departments to review, but would a letter from me on our letterhead that this is direction that you asked for to her, would that be satisfactory? Okay. I think that will put it in the right vein, as opposed to a condition that codes thinks it needs to check.
yeah, I just want to make sure that there is some discussion as this neighborhood is changing.
Okay. So in the motion, maybe direction to staff to,
Yeah.
and it'll be done, but if that also certifies your intent, I think that'd be great.
Any other discussion? If not, the vice chair kind of has the motion ready to go, I think.
All right, I will make a motion that we approve staff recommendation, but add the request that that the council member is notified to encourage to host a community meeting.
That's a proper motion. Is there a second? Second. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it, and item 45 is adopted. So that leads us to other business. Historic, Commissioner Smith, any update?
No real update, Chair. Just carrying on the good work.
We appreciate your service. Our representative to the parks is not here. Commissioner Hanley's not here. Executive committee report is a reminder that it is the Thanksgiving holiday is upon us. We only have this meeting in November, and we only have one meeting in December. So I hope that everyone has a great holiday. I know that I'm going to be smoking a turkey on my green egg. So I hope you guys. Yeah. The party is at 6:00. I was going to give the wife doesn't want any more guests, she said. So we're maxed out on Thanksgiving guests. Sorry. That's all we have, right, Vice Chair? Okay. And Director, any update from you, Director?
Forgive me for being late to the meeting. I want to thank Lisa and the team for covering, and thank all of you for your service. Chairman, I don't know if you mentioned in the opening remarks that about the transit referendum passing.
I did not. This would be a good time.
Okay. What I would just say is that that's a big deal for the city, and there's going to be a lot of work that we are coordinating with NDOT and WEGO and the mayor's office, and we're looking forward to that. And at the right moment, I'll come and brief you on sort of how we are working together to create a more walkable and easily accessible city, which is something I know that we all care very much about. And so that's a big thing. And then otherwise, I just want to wish everybody a really safe and happy holiday and safe cooking, Chairman.
Thank you. And I do want to echo that the Planning Commission, I can't speak for we as a commission, but me personally, I attended the Creve Hall meeting for the transit, and I'm very excited about it. We've been working on that for a long time in the city, and I think that this will be a good thing moving forward. And I know the planning commissioners, if you have questions about it, please talk to the director. And we will be working on that with them, and there'll probably have to be some rezonings and some other things dealing with transit, TODs potentially, and the other things. So I think it's a really exciting time, and I want to say congratulations to the mayor. So, legislative update, the council lady isn't here. Is there any other business before us? Seeing none, is there a motion to adjourn? We're adjourned.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information on this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.